Before you spend another dollar upgrading your home, stop for 1 second because some of those most popular upgrades that people do don't add value to your home. Essentially, they destroy it. I'm talking about projects that look beautiful on Instagram, but they make your home harder to sell. And they shrink your buyer pool from here to this, and they give you pennies on the dollar when it's time to move. Today, we're going to go through the 10 worst upgrades you could do to your home that you'll regret. Talk about the ones that I see homeowners do all the time, and I'll tell you what to do instead to help you build equity into your home instead of burning it. So let's dive right in. When most people start renovations, they start with emotion. They've usually been scrolling through Pinterest, admiring their friends remodel, or watch a HGTV show where everyone cries at the end because of how beautiful the upgrades were. But that's entertainment. In real life, you have to consider timelines, budget, and resale value. So let's start with an upgrade where I see ruins kitchen more than anything else. Number one is an over customized kitchen. So kitchen is where the family hangs out, but it's also where the buyers focus on when they're looking for a home to buy. But this is where a lot of people go overboard on their upgrades. I've seen bright purple, high gloss European cabinets in a century-old home, even built-in espresso machines that take up an entire wall. But here's the problem. Buyers don't want to buy your dream kitchen. They want to buy theirs. More specific and customized that you get with your kitchen, the fewer buyers will be able to relate to your home. And when that happens, that dream kitchen that you poured thousands and thousands of dollars in is actually a piece for negotiation from buyers' point of view, because now they have to tear down all the work you invest. So if your kitchen is functional, upgrade in layers. We're talking about cabinet doors, hardware, lighting, backsplashes, the simple things that have the best impact. And these upgrades that I just mentioned, they photograph well when it comes time to sell and cost a fraction of what it costs for a full remodel. Number two, luxury bathrooms in a modest house. Who doesn't love rain showers, freestanding bathtubs, or wall-mounted toilets? They all look great. But if you live in a semi-detached or townhouse that is sitting under the $1 million mark, it's going to stick out. $30,000, $50,000, or whatever money that you're going to be investing in this washroom, it's going to go to waste. And buyers will see the mismatch between your washroom and the rest of your house and the rest of your neighborhood. What's going to happen is that they're going to walk through your modest home. And then when they get into the bathroom, it's going to hit them hard. They're like, whoa, this really sticks out. And it's going to feel off. Consistency sells. Shock doesn't. Instead, go mid-range modern. I'm talking about fresh tiles, good lighting, maybe a new vanity. This way, it still feels luxurious, but without scaring away practical buyers. Number three, this is what I'm seeing more and more these days, is garage conversions. I know it's tempting to turn your garage into another family room, even a gym. Space could be tight, and you think, you know what? I don't park the car in the garage anyways. But the moment you do that, you lose one of the most valuable features of a Canadian property: secure parking and winter storage. I'm going to tell you from experience that buyers would value that garage space over that rec room you created. So if you actually need the extra living space, finish that basement or even do an addition and keep that garage a garage. It's very, very valuable, and you'll thank yourself later. This next one was a little bit different during COVID, but now that we're back to normal times, it is swimming pools. Well, this one hurts a little bit because you might love your pool, or you might like to add a pool because you love swimming, and it looks amazing in photos. But if you want to upgrade and install a pool, make sure that you're going to be living in that house for 5+ years to get the value out of it, because a pool can be one of the worst investments that you can do. They're very expensive to build, you have to maintain it, and you have to insure it as well. In Ontario, pools start about $80,000 to $100,000 just for a basic one. You add in heating, all the maintenance, all the chemicals, all the hydro costs, all those things add up. And you know what most buyers sees? They see work and an expense. Or you might attract one family that loves that pool. I guarantee there's going to be a lot more that don't want that pool. And it's a reason for them to keep on scrolling. If you want outdoor luxury, build a deck, do landscaping, have proper lighting, create like a sitting area outside. And these things will wow buyers without the added maintenance of a pool. Number 5, DIY open concept that gone wrong. So we've all seen this, where some decide to knock down all the walls on the main floor and there's no rhyme or reason, and you can't even have division between the rooms. And it feels more like a bowling alley than anything. It's echoey, nowhere to put furniture properly, and it just feels weird and off. Open concept can feel great when done properly, but without rhyme or reason and just knocking down walls, it can feel completely off to any buyers. Sometimes keeping a partial wall will give some division between the room and still have that airy feel. And it's great for sound insulation too. So instead, think sight lines, not empty spaces. So now, before we hit the next 5, let's pause for a second. If you're watching this and thinking, Gavin, these are some of the upgrades I've been thinking about, don't panic. This video is not about guilt. It's about strategy and giving you a different point of view. Every home has different priorities. And my job is to help you multiply your investment, not make it disappear. So with that in mind, let's keep on going. Number 6, this is bold flooring choices. And we know that flooring sets the tone of the entire house. People constantly choose flooring that is part of a 18-month trend and then becomes dated for the next decade. Remember that dark espresso craze that everyone wanted? Everyone wanted gray, then whitewash. Well, buyers notice trends instantly. So when a buyer sees something that's loud or out of place, first thing that comes to mind is like, whoa, this is what's going to be what I'm looking for. You'd be thinking, how much does it cost to reverse this upgrade? So what do you do instead? Stay neutral. Natural tones are great. Choose mid-range wood, maybe even durable vinyl plank. It's not boring. It's smart, and it'll make it timeless upgrade. And it works with any furniture style, and it'll photograph well. So number 7 is built-in tech. We all know that technology moves very quick. A decade ago, people built entertainment walls that would fit a 50-inch screen. Nowadays, 65-inch is normal. And those old custom niche walls, they look dated. So start with smart home systems that are not wired. Buyers see future headaches when they have to deal with wires and plugs and all that sort of junk. And if you want to go tech, go wireless, because that's easy to take out. And future owners could upgrade easily. This way, your home will feel current, not complicated. So number 8 are niche rooms. We're talking about home gyms, wine cellars, movie theaters. They sound impressive, and you might use them all the time, but they rarely pay back. And they eat up square footage and rooms and lock the home into a certain lifestyle. What most buyers prefer are guest suites, office space, or even a playroom. Still stage it as a gym or theater, but just don't do any built-ins. So make it very modular that you could just remove and take with you. Number 9 is over landscaped and complex yards. I love beautiful yards, but it seems so many homeowners overspend on their outdoor space. We're talking about intricate stonework, koi ponds, massive gardens. They're gorgeous, but they're very expensive to maintain, especially if a buyer doesn't have a green thumb. And the rule is simple. Curb appeal should be impressive, not intimidating. So when buyers see weekend work instead of weekend wine, they keep on looking. So keep it clean, tidy lawn, clean lines, simple. Low maintenance is the new luxury. Number 10, cheap cosmetic flips. So this one might be the most dangerous because it's deceptive. Talking about painting over problems, hiding water damage, installing bargain fixtures to make it look more modern. It doesn't fool the buyers. Buyers can smell a quick flip once they walk through that door. They feel the quality of how drawers close, how the floors squeak, and they look at your trim where it's bought from the bargain bin. When you cut corners, you're going to take a hit on your reputation. Your house reputation, that is, and your offer price will take a hit as well. If your budget's tight, just focus on the simple things that we mentioned earlier, like kitchen upgrades, where are very superficial, but they get a best return on your investment. So there you have it. These are 10 upgrades that cost you more than they return. But don't go anywhere. We're going to cover the upgrades that actually help you build equity. So now that we've gone through the 10 upgrades that you regret, let's go through the upgrades that you'd be glad you did. So let's ask a simple question. Why do you fall for these bad upgrades anyways? It's because homeowners renovate emotionally, not logically. And we renovate for how it makes you feel, not how it will perform. which are two separate things. So you look at pictures on Instagram or your friends' upgrades, like, wow, I want that. And not think that 5 years from now, it's either going to look dated, it's not going to feel right for future buyers, and it's going to really look out of place. And my job is to help you avoid those regrets. So let's focus on what buyers can't easily change. Buyers, as you know, can repaint homes and change light fixtures easily. That's a given. But they can't easily fix is structure, flow, and efficiency. So work on function over flash. So before you start spending a ton of money on finishes, what you do is look at the layout of your home. Does it feel weird? Is there enough storage? How's the lighting? Home that feels easy to live in sells quick. And spend money on first impressions. I'm talking about curb appeal. Remember that people form an opinion on a home in first 5 to 10 seconds when they see your home in person. So I'm talking about the exterior, like your front door, your driveway, your lawn, and all these matter more than that powder room wallpaper. You don't have to go overboard. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this. Just think simple. Seasonal plants and like clean lines to make your home feel like it's been cared for. So get rid of those weeds. And when a buyer feels they trust the exterior, they have a better impression of the interior of your home. And another thing is to save you money on is do a refresh over a replace. I'm talking about strategic facelift. So instead of replacing all your cabinets, just replace the doors. And when you replace doors, upgrade the hardware. The other thing you can do is update lighting and countertops. And these small little updates will give you a better impact per dollar than if you haven't replaced the whole thing. And doing all these little small updates avoids the big renovation fatigue that comes with big renovations. So as we know, kitchens sell, and that's where you should focus a lot of your time and energy on. Think of if your counters are tired looking, update them to quartz or some sort of simple stone. Put in under cabinet lighting. That's a cheap upgrade, but it has a big impact. And doing the backsplash is another cheap update. And doing all those things I just mentioned will make the space feel new without gutting the whole kitchen. Let me tell you, buyers will feel the freshness and newness of your kitchen when you do those. So let's cover the curb appeal again. I think new doors, updated paint, landscaping, $2,000 upgraded door will feel like $20,000 to a buyer because that's the first thing that they see and feel when they come into your home. Another thing that you could do is make your home energy efficient. But I wouldn't spend a lot of money here because you don't get a huge return. But for the more practical buyers out there, they will appreciate the little things they've done. Like if you need to update your very dated windows, 100%. Windows are expensive, but having updated windows will have a big impact for your buyers. Updated, maybe even the thermostat, which is not a big expensive upgrade, but it'll make your home feel a little bit more smart and modern. And I want to cover something that's really important that a lot of buyers go through this is the psychology of over improvement. So this is the thing about turning a well-chosen upgrade into value killers. Things like this. Let's say you're doing the floors. You might as well do the trim. Then when you do the trim, you might as well update all the duct vents. So now you see how that could steamroll into like a bigger project than you originally budgeted. So to avoid this, make sure that before you even start, they have a hard stop on what you're allowing to for this renovation. Because most contractors will suggest these things, for obvious reasons. And it might make sense as well, because if you have something open, you might as well do this other thing. But that could steamroll and add or double your renovation budget very easily. So every upgrade that you do, think about 3 things: that it reduces maintenance, increases efficiency, and solves a problem. If it doesn't cover one of these 3 things, I would pause and really think twice about doing that extra upgrade. And I've used this to help myself and my client save thousands of dollars and their sanity. So if you're planning to sell in the next 1 or 2 years, focus on high impact upgrades. I'm talking about painting, lighting, hardware, landscaping, all these things that you can do without big disruption. Well, if you're looking to sell within 5 years or more, then the strategy changes. You look for upgrades that have good impact for your buyers, obviously, but they also increase your quality of life as well. But remember, stay within the ones we mentioned above, not the ones to avoid. And some of the updates that you do are just behind the walls, like the energy efficiency. That will help with your gas bill, hydro bill for the next little while, especially if you're just planning to stay in the home for the next 5+ years. And at least you get to enjoy your improvements that will show up in other ways, meaning that your utility bills, like I said earlier, will be decreased. And it shows to potential buyers as well. If your home is more updated in terms of windows and, let's say, insulation and things like that, then they see some value in that subconsciously. And also reflects to potential buyers that you've been taking care of your home, especially when you list these updates that you've done with your home to potential buyers. Buyers usually pay a little bit more for a home that's well taken care of and maintained. So these are 3 questions I get my clients to ask themselves before doing a renovation. Number 1, would the future owner appreciate this? Would they pay for this? Is it not so customized that it only affects you? If not, then usually a passion project, which I would try to avoid. Question 2, does this solve a real problem? If it's just basically a cosmetic upgrade, make sure it's done in a proper way. If it's purely decorative, make sure your basics are solid. Question 3, will I recover at least 50% of my investment in the next 5 years? If not, I will definitely reconsider not doing that update. So these 3 questions will turn you into a strategic homeowner over a reactive one. So let's summarize what we just talked about in this video. So the upgrades that you're going to regret the most are 1, over customization. Talk about the kitchens and everything else. Washrooms or upgrade that doesn't match the house or neighborhood. An upgrade that causes a lot of maintenance and stress for future buyers to take care of. Think extreme landscaping, pools. Focus on function, not just form, but function as well, because buyers feel that when they walk through your home. But here are the upgrades that you should focus on. If they strengthen the structure and systems of your home, like having good flow and efficiency, like storage. If it makes living easier, that's usually a good thing that a buyer will feel. If it improves first impressions, talk about curb appeal and when they walk through your front door. So you do these above, not only would you preserve your equity in your home, but you also improve it. And remember, don't chase trends. They become very obsolete very quick. Create a home that feels great when you live with it and that it stands through the test of time and that feels proper when you're walking through it. Remember, the best upgrades are thoughtful and not flashy. So before you book that contractor, keep these items in mind. Maybe have a conversation with your family about this. And always ask yourself, is this adding value to my home? Or is this something I just really want because it's something that I always wanted? So if you found this video helpful, hit subscribe and like for future videos just like this. I'm Kevin Yu. Thank you for watching.